Hello, everybody, and this is Delia again. I have another sweet little book called Disney Princess Aurora's Homemade Holiday. And it comes inside, hi, Scarlett. It comes inside this big book here called the Storybook Collection Event Calendar. So we're going to read Aurora's Homemade Holiday. And Aurora is Sleeping Beauty. See, that's her. Okay, let's see what happens. One snowy December day, Princess Aurora and Prince Philip went for a stroll. As they walked, Philip noticed that the princess was unusually quiet. "Is something the matter?" he asked. "My aunts and I used to love Christmas time," she said. The three fairies, Flora, Fauna, and Merryweather, had raised Aurora in secret, and she still thought of them as her aunts. "Let's invite them for the holidays," Philip said. "What a splendid idea!" Aurora cried. Yay! The next morning, Prince Philip sent an invitation to Flora, Fauna, and Merryweather. Then he set off on a short trip to attend to some royal duties. Aurora was sad to see Philip go, but she tried to look on the bright side. Now her special Christmas preparations will be a surprise for Philip when he returned. Soon the good fairies arrived. Princess Aurora had a special request for them. "You want a Christmas exactly like the ones we shared at the cottage?" Flora asked. "That means we can't use magic." "Well, you better take our wands so we're not tempted to use them," Fauna said to Aurora, but the wands were hard to catch and zoomed around the room. They did not like the idea of being put away. "Shall we decorate?" Aurora asked. She led the fairies to a basket of evergreen garlands, ornaments, and pretty bows. "Let's start trimming the tree," Merryweather explained. "We should hang the evergreen garlands first," Flora said. Aurora knew that waiting for her aunts to agree on something could take all day, so she suggested that she and Flora put up the evergreen garlands, while Fauna and Merryweather decorated the Christmas tree. Bill, listening to the story. Are you listening to the story too? You are spoiled. Soon Aurora and the fairies moved on to the kitchen. It was time to begin their baking. And they're baking their treats, Christmas treats. "I can't wait until Philip tastes your special layer cake or the Christmas jam roll," said Aurora. "We need lots of red frosting," Flora announced. "Green frosting is prettier," Merryweather argued. "We'll use both," Aurora declared. They're the ones that like to change the color of the dress that Sleeping Beauty always had on. They argued about the colors. The next morning over breakfast, Aurora and the good fairies talked about a gift for Philip. "I want to give him a homemade present," Aurora said to her aunts. "But what?" "How about a shirt?" Flora suggested. "But I don't know how to sew," the princess replied sadly. "Well, we'll show you how," said Merryweather. "Aurora, do you remember the stockings you sewed when I was a little girl?" she asked. "Of course," Flora said. "We forgot to stitch up the bottoms, and the gifts fell out. You'd say, 'Look, her stockings is empty. We'd better fill it up with more treats,'" Aurora said, chuckling as she remembered the happy times she had shared with the fairies. All morning the fairies worked with Aurora, teaching her how to cut fabric and how to sew a shirt. "Oh dear," the princess said when she looked down at her sewing. "This shirt isn't looking quite right." The fairies quickly set aside their own projects to help Aurora with Philip's shirt. She's trying though, isn't she? Is she trying to make him something special? When Aurora finished Philip's gift, the fairies helped her get it ready. "The prince will be home soon." The fairies made a crown of holly for the princess's hair. Next, they had to decide what she should wear. Flora suggested a red dress, and Merryweather preferred a blue one. Then Fauna held up a beautiful purple gown. Aurora tried it on. The dress was perfect. Even Flora and Merryweather had to admit the purple dress looked lovely on the princess. So she got a different color this time. The last thing Aurora had to do was wrap the prince's gift. Once again, she asked for the fairy's help. When they were finished, the princess placed the present under the tree. That afternoon, Prince Philip arrived back at the castle. Aurora was eagerly waiting for him. "Close your eyes," she said with a sly grin, "and don't open them until I tell you to." Aurora led Philip into the grand hall where Flora, Fauna, and Merryweather were waiting. Philip looked around. Crooked wreaths dangled from the walls. The Christmas tree was decorated only on one side. Lopsided cake, burnt tarts, and misshaped cookies filled a table. "I've never seen preparations like these before," Philip said politely. I could see why you find them so special." "Try a lemon tart," Aurora said. Philip took one and nibbled it. Suddenly a strange look came over his face. The lemon tart tasted horrible. "Oh dear," Fauna said, "we must have forgotten the sugar." They didn't know how to cook it, did they? Aurora handed Philip his gift. "One more surprise," she said. "A shirt," the prince explained, after opening the box. And when Philip tried on his present, the princess and the fairies burst into laughter. "Oh dear, that's certainly not the right size," Aurora said. The sleeves were far too long. Aurora knew her Christmas wasn't perfect, but sharing a homemade holiday with Philip and her aunts had made it to the best one Aurora could remember. Look, it didn't fit him. That's cute. And that was called Aurora's Homemade Holiday. I hope you enjoyed this cute little book, and there will be more coming soon. This was book 13 in the Advent calendar. Have a nice day. Take care.